So let me share a concept with you in this video that is probably going to be alien to you. It's alien to a lot of people, and it was to me as well when I learned it. However, what I'm going to share with you in this video will completely, and I mean completely, transform your life and your finances once you get it. I want to give you a little more to dig into here. I have not done this in any of my videos in this series of videos. There's a book written about 100 years ago, and it's called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Now, what I'm going to share with you, I didn't learn in that book. I learned from my brother-in-law, who's a shaman. I've mentioned in other videos. Shamans are healers, they are seers, they were the medicine men in Native American tribes. And he taught me this very early on. I also want to share with you that I didn't embrace it early on. And when I embraced it, it quite literally took me from working for money and struggling and all that kind of good stuff and getting clients and going out and building my business. It took me from that to, over the years, to making multiple millions of dollars per year. Now here's the concept, and as I said, it's alien to a lot of people. I'm going to share it with you. And when I 100% embraced this concept, and also it's in The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, and he might not say it like I do, but the concept is this, is that money does not come from people, money comes from the universe. Now, if you've been taught like I have, money comes from hard work, and you go out and you prospect and you lead generate, or you hop in your car and you go to your administrative job or your secretarial job or your sales job or your CPA job. And if you trade your hours and your energy and your life force, what they're going to do is they're going to reward you by giving you money. And we, as a world and as a culture, we believe that money comes from work. That is not true. Not true at all. Money can come through people, but money comes from the universe. And let me give you some examples here, because when I give you these examples, I'm pretty sure that you've had these examples happen in your own life. So for example, I'm in my home in Sedona right now. The real estate agent that I had for this home, I called one of my former clients in Pasadena, top agent, and I said, can you find me a real estate agent in Sedona? And I said, well, let me do some looking around. He found this agent for me and a friend of mine that also, he and his wife were looking to buy a home as well. We came out looking for homes back in December, and it's July now, half a year later. But here's what I want to point out. Most real estate agents believe to grow their business, they have to lead generate, they have to prospect, they have to get referrals, etc. Because if they lead generate and prospect and get referrals, then what happens is they're going to get more business, they're going to grow their business. What I want to point out is this real estate agent, for example, did zero, and I mean zero prospecting to get me as a client. I made a phone call, somebody made a phone call, boom, I'm looking at homes with her back in December. This is a 7-figure home, so her commission was very significant. But what I want to point out, and what I want to drive home, is that she did zero work to earn that commission. And when I even say that, you might be thinking, if you're an agent, well, she showed you homes and all that. Not even that. I saw this home on the MLS and I said, that's my home. And I already knew that it was my home because I can manifest things. We all can. We're born creators and manifestors. So basically what she did is I contacted her. She showed me the house. The very next day I made an offer on it. So her commission actually cost her about 1 hour of time, and she made a significant commission. Now let's bring this back to you. Let me tell you a story first, and then I'll bring it back to you. Many years ago, when I used to live in New York City, I sent someone, I'll just call it an offering, a financial offering. And I remember, New York City, if you've ever lived there, is very expensive. And this was a lot of years ago. And I was making 6 figures back then. But again, New York's expensive, and a lot of people are rent poor. And I remember sending somebody $1,000. And I thought, you know what? I mean, that makes me a little tight this month, but I'll send $1,000. Well, that very afternoon, I picked up 3 new clients that just called me out of the blue that actually compensated plus more money for the $1,000 that I just put out. Now, let me bring this to you to demonstrate my point. How many times have you had money show up in your life just like that and you did not work for it? Meaning you're just sitting there at your desk and somebody calls and they say, you know what? I'm looking for what you do, and I talked to Susan Smith and she says, you're the person to work with. You know what? You didn't lead generate. You didn't prospect to get that client or that money or that project or whatever. It fell right into your lap. So what I'm sharing with you is you can continue to seek money, and you can wander, and you can struggle to pay your bills and struggle for money for your kids' tuition, or struggle for your car payment or new tires or your mortgage or whatever, which is literally what 87% of Americans do. And there are people from all over the world, and it's probably the same. I read an article recently in the Wall Street Journal that said, no, I'm sorry, let me correct that, 79% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So you can, if you're struggling, you can continue to struggle, and you can try to struggle for money and work till your eyeballs bleed, which doesn't work, or you wouldn't be struggling. Or you can start exploring and trusting the ancient wisdom, which is also physics, that money does not come from things and people and projects. Money comes from the universe, and it also comes from our consciousness, because whatever our consciousness is about money is what we attract. Now, obviously, you want to become a conscious transformer, and you know that on every video I say, I've created a podcast episode for you. So click the link, and whatever you do, because I'm telling you, money is something that we all need. So whatever videos you watch, that's great, but this one, or podcast, but this one, make sure you click the link and you actually go listen to this podcast episode, because it will make a huge difference in your life.